1 o'clock, three-man front. We've got DJ Durkin's press conference from the Plains of Auburn. We'll carry that in its entirety. A lot of news around the Iron Bowl, a lot of news on potential scenarios for the Alabama Crimson Tide with that game coming up Saturday night at Jordan-Hare. What would an Alabama win do? Me and Pat have said that we believe that Alabama minus a SEC championship game getting blown out that they're in. We never know what the college football playoff is going to do, but I feel pretty good about Alabama's chances if they win. If they don't, then it's my opinion that for the second straight year that Kalen DeBoer and Alabama miss out on the college football playoff. We'll get the thoughts of Coach Bill Clark. He's presented by our friends at Donahue Chevrolet.
Coach Bill Clark on Three Man Front is brought to you by Donahue Chevrolet. Learn more at DonahueChevrolet.com. And now, Coach Bill Clark.
And Coach joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Coach, how are you today? Happy Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving week. Yeah, I'm good. Great. Hope you guys are.
Doing wonderful. We'll start off with an easy one. The Alabama kicker gets booed by the fans at Bryant-Denny Stadium after missing a field goal. Yep. Did you ever have an issue with a player in particular getting booed?
I didn't. I think that's a great lesson for so many kids out there about, not showing up a teammate and trying to make them look bad. And I hate it for the kid now, but that's a tough way to learn that lesson of, and I'll just use specialists in general. I always wanted a specialist to do every single thing they could do with the rest of the team. They ran with them, they lifted with them, they weren't separated. So when they did have a negative, they were part of the team. And I think they also learned those things about, don't do things like that, because that was a big mistake.
Coach, we've got the Iron Bowl coming up this weekend. It's a must-win for the Alabama Crimson Tide if they want to get to not only the SEC championship game, but potentially the college football playoff. Kalen DeBoer today sounded pretty at ease, like most Kalen DeBoer press conferences, but just talk about that pressure and how that could affect this team as they prepare for a very difficult environment, which is Jordan-Hare Stadium.
They've played a great slate. I mean, I know in his mind he's thinking we've gone into hostile territory. We've played ranked teams. We've won those games. We prepare for this game really year-round. Both sides are working on it year-round. So that's how you want to be, and that's what you definitely want your team to see is confidence and not relaxation, but I think confidence and focus. And I think that's what you want to project as a leader. In the real life, though, it's swirling. You know exactly what goes into this game. If there wasn't a championship game on the line and the playoffs and all that, you know what goes in, and you know what he knows what he's in store for going to Auburn. I think he does. And
Coach, I think that you told us that you present this scenario. You're not hiding anything from your team. Like, hey, let's just go 1-0. Of course, you're saying that, but they have to know that their season is on the line. It's a one-game season, in your opinion.
Yeah, I always tell the story when we got the championship game and finally figured out, it's like, look, we got to win this game. It's not, and if we don't win this game, all we work for, and we know that's not the case, but the way you've presented and the way they feel, it's all on the line here, and that's really where you want it to be, because then you're going to get maximal preparation, which is good, and I think that's the point here. It's how do we practice and prepare this week, and then we get to turn it loose when the game's here.
Coach, we've talked to you many, many times on the Bill Clark Show Thursday nights here on Jocks about especially off weeks. And it's very interesting because we call it lettuce games in the industry where, you're basically playing a cupcake team before you go and play a really tough opponent. And that's basically what happened for both Alabama and Auburn. But in regards to preparation, like let's take for Alabama, for example. When do you think they actually started preparing for Auburn?
I think it was mixed in probably all week. I think they probably did very little on the opponent. I think, I think they were working Auburn all week. I think they had a part of the staff that was working on Auburn the whole week. And then they had some that were working on the opponent. And, the difference between a not great FCS team and a better even a lower level FBS team is really night and day. Now we get some top level FCS teams, especially back in the day, you couldn't have done it quite like that. But I think the way it worked out, they were probably able to get a lot of energy toward Auburn. And, of course, we know Auburn was open the week before, and we know what they did.
Yeah, and that's where I want to go next. Auburn, this offense, we saw it against Vanderbilt, and it looked much different than it did under Hugh Freeze. We saw it, albeit against Mercer, but Deuce Knight, he was impressive in his first start. But if you're Kane Womack, what are you preparing for? How much different does this Auburn offense, Coach, look-wise? I know personnel-wise it's mostly the same, but how much different does it look schematically to him than maybe it did back when Hugh Freeze was running it?
Yeah, he's looking at nothing really but what they've done recently. I mean, you look at the whole body of work, but just the way third downs are approached, the way the run-pass ratios, and that's what I always say. As a defensive play caller, you've got to know the history of who the offensive play caller is. Who's making the decision? Who's making the decision on fourth down? If it's a lot of times you get a defensive coach, I always felt like I was always probably more aggressive than a lot of people because I always felt like our defense could stop them. So I gave the offense more free reign to do things. I think that's what they're looking at. What has happened since the change, and what does that look like? And we know it's different, and it's working.
Alabama's still trying to find a running game. They were able to find it against Eastern Illinois, but I think a lot of teams were able to find success running the ball against Eastern Illinois. If you're DJ Durkin, the Auburn defense, looking at this Alabama offense, are you attacking it differently? I know that you're going to take away the run first and foremost, but how much different with maybe at times the lack of the threat of the running game do you play it if you're DJ in that side of the ball?
I think you look at Oklahoma. You look at it hard. You look at what did they do in that game that, and they didn't stop everything. Alabama's too good to stop everything. But I think that mindset is what you would use it to approach. Obviously, he's got his own thoughts. He's a good defensive coach in his own right. But I think that's what I would use. What gave them hard, just like we talked about after South Carolina, people were going to use that as a blueprint. Now, I will say this about Alabama. Let's go back to their really big games, minus Oklahoma probably, and I won't count Florida State, but they get very creative. Let's think about Georgia. Let's think about Tennessee. So I know that's, Alabama's done a good job in those big games of saving some things and opening up different things, being very innovative, but that's who I would use. I would use Venables and his idea because he had an extra week to prepare for him as well.
Coach Bill Clark joining us as he customarily does on Mondays during the college football season. He's presented by Donahue Chevrolet, DonahueChevrolet.com for all of your options there. And he joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Pat asked you about the preparation time and when Alabama realistically probably started getting set for Auburn. Auburn, meanwhile, they had the off week after Vanderbilt. You got Mercer, so essentially an extra week of preparation. Is there any truth to the adage of maybe spending too much time on an opponent for your guys? Is there any truth, or in this case, are you spending all of your time for 2.5 weeks on Alabama?
Yeah, I think they were able to probably spend a little bit of time on Mercer, probably more than Alabama spent, on their opponent, because they had a full open week. They were probably doing some bits and pieces even through this last week, because what you want to do is you go, okay, does this idea work? Let's just say, a different route or a different blocking scheme or a different coverage or some special things. So they could intermix that in during the week, even this past week. So they had them, Auburn having the extra week ahead of Mercer really is, was a big advantage, is a big advantage for them.
Coach, around the SEC, there's a lot of talk about Lane Kiffin, potentially where he's going to land. With the statement that we got from Ole Miss, and they're going to have a statement after the game, you're trying to lessen the distraction. I understand why Keith Carter did it, but if you're not telling anybody anything, did that statement really serve any purpose for your team? In any way, can that be beneficial to your team?
Well, you're doing anything you can to change the subject, to minimize it, to all right, guys, just give us some time and let us get through this game, and then we'll have something. But it obviously tells everybody that why not just tell us if he's going to stay. So, and we talked a lot about it on our show, on my show, the fact that, coaches and what they're going through and now and paydays and players getting paid, and there are a lot of them in 1 year cycles. So it is different than it used to be, but I think they're trying to minimize distraction. I don't know how much it helped, but that's what they're trying to do.
All right, Coach. We've got a game with Texas and Texas A&M. Texas A&M. This is a team that you've liked all season. Do you think Texas A&M is the moment too big, or do you see something out of Mike Elko's team that says, you know what, we're chasing something bigger?
Yeah, I think Texas has improved. I really do. But I think these guys, they had their life flash before their eyes with South Carolina. I think they take care of business. And I think that was their moment to say, look, we let up in the first half and almost got beat.
Well, if you're shopping for the holidays, maybe the Christmas season, how about one of those 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 high countries? Right now, you get $11,000 off MSRP at our friends at Donahue Chevrolet, Coach, and you're very familiar with those fine folks.
Yeah, I've been with Donahue for years, and Chris and those guys do a great job. Obviously, they got tons of great truck deals, and you can see all that. But the people that take care of you are great folks, and that's what you want to deal with.
What are you doing right now? Are you getting ready for your Thanksgiving feast? I'm guessing you're elbow deep in Thanksgiving pies and casseroles that you're helping your wife with.
No, I'm going salad the next few days in preparation. Just getting ready.
That's
ready
right.
for the game.
You got to make room, right?
That's right.
All right, Coach. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. We'll see you very, very soon. Enjoy the games this weekend, and we will talk.
Okay. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
All right. Coach Bill Clark, presented by Donahue Chevrolet, DonahueChevrolet.com. Check out the ridiculous deals they have and make sure that you tell them Coach Bill Clark sent you. We continue. DJ Durkin, his press conference from Auburn at 1:30. We'll carry it in its entirety as we continue on Monday, Thanksgiving week, Iron Bowl week. Jocks. 116, three-man front. DJ Durkin from Auburn, his press conference at 1:30. We'll carry it in its entirety. We got hoops going on right now. We got basketball tonight. Auburn taking on Oregon. Auburn up to number 21 in the latest top 25 poll. 7 o'clock the tip there from Michelob Ultra Arena in Vegas. Meanwhile, Alabama, number 8 team in the country, hosting, I guess technically, Gonzaga, the 12th ranked team in the country. 8:30, you're going to get that one on TNT. That one there in Vegas, but from the MGM Grand Garden Arena. And Pat, you just did something very unique. You did a hit there on the UAB game.
I'm doing a lot of things today on my birthday. I'm doing this radio show.
Wonderful.
I'm running down the hall. I'm covering UAB basketball on the broadcast from Jacksonville, Florida.
The only thing that you could add to make this the perfect birthday if you help somebody move after the show.
I could actually use some help with that.
You need to move something?
I could find something for you to move on.
Find like a really big armoire.
Yeah. I can find something.
That I helped our former market manager move one time. And I think that's the reason for my back problem. Thought I was doing a solid.
You remember that question about rearranging your living room for fun? Pat, I think you should come over and rearrange my living room for fun.
Did Paige get a wild hair this weekend and she wants to like change everything? Is that what she's doing?
Yes.
Is it really?
No.
I thought about that last night when we put the tree in the spot where the leather chair usually goes.
I did have to rearrange furniture for the tree, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
My wife's like, well, maybe it's not the leather chair. I said, no, the leather chair is staying. You can figure out, do we want Landrum sitting right here in the middle where nobody can get by, or do we want to find a place for the leather chair?
The problem that we have is our Christmas tree's been up for like a week and a half now, but there's no decorations on it.
Really?
Yeah, it's just a tree with lights.
So you'll love this. So, Connor got married in January, and so when they moved into their apartment, the bed that Connor and the dresser and everything that was up in his room, we gave that to him and said, hey, look, you can have that until you decide you want to go purchase your own bed and dresser and all that kind of stuff. And so, okay, cool. And I told him, I said, but like when you get ready to move or you move into a house or whatever the situation is, I want that back. Because I've got like empty rooms upstairs since him and Dylan are gone. I need the furniture. And so they're getting a house. And so they were moving out last week. And I said, hey, I want the stuff. And they got a moving company, which I was like, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
You raised him right.
And then I said, whatever it's going to cost, you make sure they stop in Trussville and make sure that they put that bed and they put that dresser back upstairs in your bedroom, your old bedroom, because I'm not doing it.
No.
I took it down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting it back up.
No.
So I got home Friday, and guess what?
It was done?
It was done.
Nice.
Yes.
You ever put the mattress just edgeways and just let it slide down? Slide down the stairs?
Well, here's the thing. Now I've got to go buy a mattress and box.
Conrad's like, yeah, I've totally done that.
Because they still have that.
Mattress is definitely something we're giving each other, me and my wife are, for Christmas.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
It is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's things you need.
Yep.
Not things you want.
Mm-hmm.
But we definitely need.
How about this? This is so cool. So I'm very humbled by everyone on the text line, like sending me text messages and saying, hey, happy birthday, Twitter, and stuff like that. And Drew Lawley, the outstanding general manager, you hear me talk about him every single day. Right now, Black Friday sales event going on all month long, courtesy GMC.
Did he send you a birthday convertible?
Man, that'd be nice. He sent me a text just wishing me a happy birthday. And I'm just going to read this. I'm going to make sure I can read this. Yes, I can. Anybody that comes in this week to Courtesy GMC and you mention my birthday, they're going to give you another $1,000 off.
Oh,
whatever the deal is on the car.
All right.
How cool is that?
That's pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
What if I'm not in the market for a car, but I could use $1,000?
Well, I don't think that's the way that works.
Okay.
Landrum.
I just want to clarify.
So a brand new Courtesy GMC in Trussville. You mentioned my birthday. $1,000 off. More. How about that?
That's awesome.
Already just the best deals you're going to find anywhere in the Southeast.
And then Pat will match that. No, that's
What?
a sweet deal.
What?
No, I'm throwing stuff.
What are
in
you
there.
doing?
No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to screw up the deal for somebody.
No. So once again,
Thank you, Drew. Appreciate you doing that.
Absolutely. So anybody goes into Courtesy GMC in Trussville, mention my birthday this week, and you will get a discount. You'll receive another $1,000 off any advertised price. There you go. All right. When we come back, we're going to get down to Auburn, and we're going to listen to DJ Durkin. This is Three Man Front on Jocks. We'll go down to Auburn, Alabama, here from DJ Durkin, the interim head football coach of the Auburn Tigers. It is Iron Bowl week. Bama currently a 6-point favorite. It will be interesting tomorrow night, Landrum. It will be the college football playoff rankings. Something that you can probably look at from yesterday and you can translate that into tomorrow night is the coaches poll and the AP top 25 poll. Both of those been extremely close. Matter of fact, been dead on in regards to the college football playoff rankings. There was no change in the top 11 in the coaches poll yesterday. Not one single difference. So if you look at that And based on the college football playoff rankings, that would mean that Alabama would be the 10th ranked team in tomorrow night's college football playoff rankings.
Yeah. And why spoil the fun for everybody for the committee? You know some of the head-to-heads that you have that's going to decide a lot of this coming up this weekend. So, yeah, I would expect them to stand pat until
this weekend.
Yeah, until this weekend, and then they know that everything certainly shuffles. Let's go quickly to the phones. Dr. Mel, how are you?
I'm blessed. How are you all today? First of all, happy Thanksgiving to you guys. But the main reason I called today is the late comedian Jimmy Durkin would say, "Happy birthday, Pat. Happy birthday to you."
Thank you, Dr. Mel.
Pat, I understand, Pat, you're celebrating your 27th birthday today.
That is correct,
okay.
yes.
27 with 15 years experience. God bless you all. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Dr. Mel. It was great to see you last Tuesday. Thank you so much. Yeah. It is good to see Dr. Mel on Tuesdays at Social Taco because, he works there in Trussville at the emergency room. And so I would rather see him on Tuesdays at Social Taco than seeing him in Trussville. Because if I'm seeing him in Trussville.
If you've seen him in Trussville, something has gone wrong.
Yeah, there's, Leanne's calling y'all and saying Pat's not going to be on the show on tomorrow. But anyway.
I am very thankful for Dr. Mel.
Absolutely.
And I'm thankful for those like Dr. Mel.
No question. All right. When we come back, DJ Durkin, the interim head coach at Auburn, that's next. We're back on Three-Man Front is Iron Bowl week. We've already heard from Kalen DeBoer from Tuscaloosa. Let's go to Auburn, Alabama, the interim head coach of the Auburn Tigers, DJ Durkin.
All right. Good? All right, we'll let Coach make a statement and we'll take some questions.
Good afternoon. I appreciate you all being here. Just good coming off a win for sure. Proud of our guys, how they prepared for that game. You know, as we said all week long, keeping them focused on that was definitely a task. I think our coaches did a good job of working that every day, and I think our players did as well. I'm not sure the defense quite believed this early on that was a good team we were playing, and you know, we did not play great there in the first quarter, but credit to them with their response and how we bounced back. And I thought we played more our style the rest of the game. And then offensively, I thought it was tremendous. Good execution of a plan, and to see Deuce get out there and get his first snaps and play like that was pretty amazing. It was awesome. See his teammates rally around him and really respond. So it was good in many ways. A complete. Everyone around him, and obviously he performed at a real high level. I mean, he had the big plays, explosives. Everyone saw that, but I think he did a great job of just going through his reads, making the right decisions, kind of operating the offense the right way.
You mentioned the injured guys. What was the nature of Keldrick's injury, and then you're just kind of reiterating on that? Y'all aren't concerned about him being out for Saturday?
Yeah, no, Keldrick, he'll be ready to go. He's got dinged up a little bit, and we made a decision at a point in that game where we don't need to keep playing him in that game based on this, the situation.
DJ, just your thoughts on Ty Simpson, their quarterback, and how effective he's been so far this year, and ability to match up with him. What's going to be most important for you guys going up against him?
Yeah, I think he's played at a really high level, and we're here at the end of the season, so you get a chance to watch the whole menu of all the games, and I think he does a really good job. But he commands that offense. They give you multiple looks and with shifts and motions, and you could tell his eyes are in the right place. He knows where to go with the ball. Rarely is he kind of off cue of what the defense is doing and where to go with it, at least. And he can make all the throws. I mean, you see him, they push the ball down the field. They have a lot of vertical route concepts, and he can get it where it needs to be. He's got good playmakers to throw to, and I think he understands that. And so it's definitely a challenge. It'll be our toughest challenge, I think, of the year.
They've struggled to run the ball this year. However, their receivers, they have 4 or 5 guys that can make plays. From a defensive standpoint, trying to scheme for that, is it sometimes just picking your poison, or does the coverage dictate what they look like offensively?
Yeah, I think, something with them, too, is they probably count a lot of their run game as perimeter screens and quick passes to those receivers. I think they do, they're creative about getting the ball to their playmakers and get it to them fast and let them run with it. So I think that's an extension of the run game. I know it doesn't show up in stats as run game, but that's a big part of it. I think, I don't know. They have very talented backs. I think their offensive line is really good. They're athletic. They do a good job of moving on their stretch and get on the perimeter. And so you've got to make sure that you can do both, stop the run and defend the pass against them. I don't think it's where they're just a one-dimensional team.
Coach, your defense really found their stride in the second half versus Mercer. Since you've been interim head coach, can you talk about the things you've learned about maybe balancing the big picture stuff with also calling a really good defense, and how you plan to do that in the Iron Bowl?
Yeah, I think, it's as we've gotten further and further removed from when it first happened, it's slowed down a little bit for me. It's a lot like anything else when you start something new. So that first week there's a lot of things coming at you to just get set in place, and everyone wants to come talk to you about whatever their area is, and in the right way. Like, okay, coach, how do you want this done? What do you want? So it's a lot of conversations, decisions that distract from other things. As we keep getting further and further from that moment, I think things kind of slow down. People, everyone understands in the building of how we want things done, and it allows me to get back more to being the defensive coordinator and going through game plan and making a lot of those decisions.
DJ, having a guy like Ashton who's so experienced, how valuable is that this week, where you has to go from not playing last week to now getting back in here as a starter? How valuable is that experience for him?
Yeah, it's crucial, and I think due to that experience, he took the right approach all last week too. I mean, Ashton was very active in practice. both the offensive field and the defensive field. He came over and played quarterback versus our defense a lot of times because I wanted him to keep the speed of the game going, and he helped our defense. And he was, with those guys, with Deuce, and very involved in the game plan. So, I think because of that, he approached it the right way, and he'll be just fine.
Talking about Ashton, I mean, now that you've had some time to look back at it and think about his performance at Vanderbilt, I mean, for a guy to go from the performance he had against Kentucky 1 week later, have the game that he did against Vandy, what do you think was the biggest difference, not only for him, but kind of the way the passing game executed between those two games?
Yeah, I think it was just really like providing him a plan where he can have confidence in. We want to build it around him. I felt like his teammates respond well to him, to his leadership, to what he's all about. And it's kind of like, okay, let's really focus on what he does well. Let's focus on who he gets the ball to and make it about that. And I think, credit again to our coaches and to Ashton of executing that. I thought they really did a good job.
When you, as a defensive guy, you don't have a lot of time to defenses, but now as a head coach, what do you, when you see Alabama's defense, what stands out about that group on the other side this week?
The first thing to say, they're active on the ball. They make plays on the ball. They do a good job of takeaways. They do a good job of playing the ball down the field. I think their pass defense is excellent, and I think up front, they're physical. They do a good job of getting the quarterback, affecting the quarterback with four, and so I think they're very active about it. We got to do a great job protecting the football, making good the ball, and sustaining drives that way.
Seems like the running back struggled to get going a little bit against Mercer. I guess what did you guys see there when watching the film, and I guess how important will the running game be on Saturday?
Run game will be critical. We need to establish the run game, and that's a thing for us that we feel we always need to do. That gives you an advantage in the game. I feel like our running backs will be ready to go and have a good plan for them. I think obviously Deuce had a lot of the rush yards in that game, and some of that was designed that way, some of it wasn't. I mean, there was definitely design runs to Deuce. There was also plays where it just the look wasn't what he wanted, and he took off and ran and did a great job with it. And I think the game just kind of went that way based on the style of defense they were playing.
Coach, after the Vanderbilt game, you in the locker room, you mentioned that everyone in the country was calling your players, and you praised their focus in the midst of that turmoil. How focused is the team headed into the Iron Bowl, and where do you stand in that standpoint? Yeah, I mean, I think that reached an all-time high probably last week with the contact and distractions. I think this week I would hope, I really believe our guys are going to be totally locked into the task at hand. And that's certainly the challenge. And all we do, we talk about it every day. We address it every day, and we hit it head on with them. And it is what it is. It's the environment. There's nothing, you're going to do to stop that. So let's address it and it's in the right place. And I do feel like it starts with leadership. And I think our leaders on our team are tremendous. And they will, have challenged their teammates and everyone to stay where your feet are, stay locked in. And we're part of something bigger than ourselves, and we're gonna be accountable to that.
TJ, coaches have different ways of pushing buttons and motivating their group. But a week like this, is the message more motivation-wise, hey, let's play a bowl game, keep this thing going, or hey, we can spoil our biggest rival season?
The message is go 1-0. Every week, our whole goal is to go 1-0. It's a fight. It's a challenge every week. Today was a Monday, and there's things we do on a Monday to help us get to 1-0. And it's about your preparation. You don't just, get excited on Saturday to go win a game. It's the preparation. So I think it's important to keep our guys in a routine. They know what a Monday looks like. They know what a Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. And that's it. And that's, as coaches, we're the same way. You got to just get your head down and work on and get the things done you're supposed to get done on each day.
DJ, on Ty Simpson again, just how important is it going to be to put pressure on him? He seems like quarterback, when he's not pressured, he can really pick apart a defense.
Yeah, I think, probably like when you start talking about guys that are very effective at the quarterback position, you've got to be multiple in what you do. I don't think it's any one thing. I think if you let them get in a rhythm of what it is you're doing, whether it's, type of coverage or pressure or not, or, 3-man, 4-man, 5-man rush, whatever it is, right? They'll figure that rhythm out and know where to go with the ball and beat you on it. So to me, it's being multiple in what you do.
in these rivalry type games, obviously you expect close games. How important is it to have a guy like Alex? Obviously, the way he's kicking the football, his confidence right now, to have that confidence in the kicking game, how big of a deal is that going into Saturday?
Yeah, man, it's critical. I think, his teammates, coaches all have confidence in him, and you get to a certain spot on the field, and you feel good about knowing we got 3 here, and it helps your play too to know, okay, let's be smart and let's understand, we don't have to take any crazy chances here. We're points right now, and obviously you want to get more. 7, we're going to have to convert in the red zone. To have that is huge.
You saw Sylvester ejected, last week for targeting. He's going to miss the first half of this game. How important is it for some other guys to step up, and who are you looking to step up?
Yeah, I mean, we're just going through the reps today at practice. You got to manage those reps now and understand, all right, well, what's he doing during the first half? What's he doing at halftime to get him ready to play and go through all that? Obviously feel for him because it's a game so important for him personally. But I mean, he'll still get to play in it. I thought that it was bang. I see why it was called. I think he can do a better job keeping his head out of it. But I've also seen worse not called too. But so that we'll plan on that. We've rotated, played a lot of guys on defense, so it's not any tremendously new faces. It's going to be guys that have already been playing. I mean, I think the number's like 20. It's either 25 or 26 to 31 guys in every game we've played on defense, and excluding the last game, we were up near 40 guys on defense that game. So, we've played a lot for all these reasons, whether it's an injury or, a guy gets ejected from the game for targeting or whatever it might be. It's like you got to have the next guy ready to go and not have a drop-off, and I feel very good about that based on the experience our guys have.
DJ, with your upbringing in Ohio and then coaching at Michigan as well, I feel like you probably have an understanding of that rivalry. Makes you say that Auburn, Alabama is the best, and what have you kind of come to know about this rivalry being here a couple years?
I mean, this rivalry runs deep, and it's interstate, and it's the history of it, and the game being played in Birmingham, and then finally moved here, and obviously with some of the things that have gone on over the past. I mean, spent some time this morning in a team meeting just educating guys on it. We have guys from all over. Some guys new to the team, transfers that don't, it's not the old days where you got freshmen that have been on the roster for 5 years and understand all that. So I thought it was big we spent time on that today and just educate guys a little bit about the rivalry. And it is. I mean, it's what I don't care where you live or where you're from. You know about the Iron Bowl, and certainly, to this area, there's nothing bigger.
Coach, it's been an up and down season for the secondary this year. What's kind of been the conversations this week with the coaches, to ensure a positive performance against Bama's elite receivers?
There's no different conversation than any other week. We're going to prepare the same way, and we take on every challenge and evaluate their guys and break down their personnel and what they do, and so that's how we do it. Our guys, we got veterans back there that have played really well for us, so they'll respond the right way.
Coach, just to wrap up, could you talk about what in this game would mean to you, knowing of the rivalry, and this being that you took over and they seem to believe in you?
Our whole goal as a team is to go 1-0, and that's it. So we're focused on that one day at a time. I mean, I think for our team it'd be a tremendous thing for our guys to come together and go accomplish that together, and that's. Our guys are so far, we're one day in, they prepared the right way today. So then we're going to go tomorrow and make sure we check that box. We got the right Tuesday done, and just take it. And I think when you do it that way, I think more often than not you get the results that you want. Okay.
DJ Durkin there in Auburn previewing the Iron Bowl. Some of the interesting takeaways from Coach Durkin. He was asked about playing Deuce Knight in addition to Ashton Daniels, a quarterback against Bama, and Durkin smiled and said, quote, "That's a great idea. I think I'll take that back upstairs."
It just feels, and we talked about it earlier, right? As you can say all you want. Oh, well, it's against Mercer, but I mean, you said it best, right? Speed translates, and a guy with the legs that he has,
speed is speed.
Feels like it would be stupid not to utilize that in some form or fashion.
Yeah, feel like at least off what you've seen, and they've seen Deuce Knight play all year, but prior to last last week against Mercer, all we saw was against Ball State. Now, looking back, I throw that out because he did not look good against Ball State, but neither did the Auburn offense. And Ball State was terrible. How much of that was just a byproduct of a few frees? I'm going to go ahead and give Deuce Knight the benefit of the doubt and everybody else on that roster. I think a lot of it had to do with Hugh Freeze.
Well, and the reality too for Deuce is, I mean, you're one game away from being a sophomore in college, right? Like he's essentially been around for an entire season of football, so it's fair to say that he's probably developed and continued to get better in practice.
Also, DJ Durkin saying no concerns regarding injuries heading into the Iron Bowl that Keldrick fought. He was banged up a little bit against Mercer, but should be good to go. And also saying that distractions and programs contacting their players reached an all-time high last week and expects things to be calmer for his players this week and to stay focused.
I don't think anybody's surprised to hear that.
No.
It's just the way of the world.
He adds to say we're part of something bigger than ourselves and we're going to be able to going to be accountable to that, end quote. So we heard from Kalen DeBoer and we heard from DJ Durkin.
It is cool, though, to hear, because even like that last question of, how much would this win mean to you? And immediately he deflects to, I think it would be really great for these players to be able to accomplish that. It's, again, it's not about him. It's not about, if you win this game, do you think you'll get the job? We're trying to win one football game and go from there.
We do have some text we'll get to before Conrad's got a worst thing that he has seen that he wants to share with us. But we go back to the text line, 205-834-9450. Somebody saying, I still can't get over the size of Durkin's noggin. Without a hat, it really sticks out. Yeah. I've not noticed the size of his head.
He has a big forehead.
Does he?
Well, I mean, he's also, nothing against him. Just, when you're bald, it's kind of more noticeable, so.
Okay.
It's because he got a big brain up there, all those defensive schemes.
Walker says people still claim Bama can't stop the run, yet they haven't allowed over 3 yards per carry in over a month.
Defense has played really well. Run defense has gotten a lot better.
DeBoer needs to let Proctor try place kicking. Next, Daniel A. Moore painting. The crispy kick.
I like it.
Happy birthday to Pat. Go Vikes, Brooke and Orlando. Maybe a former classmate.
Maybe so. Very nice.
Vikes kind of gave it away. Jocks, what are the odds that if Auburn wins, the fans rush the field?
100%.
I think they will.
100%.
DJ asking, do you think, not Durkin, DJ, our listener, you think Kiffin will pull a Corso, have a couple of mascot hats, pick up the one, and grab the other?
No, but that would be awesome.
Just to add to what we've seen, I do want to see, for the finality of it all, I want to see some kind of ceremony and something clever.
Just do it's like when LeBron did his decision, just do that for Lane Kiffin. Except make it more interesting because the LeBron one was dumb.
Glenn says, happy birthday, Pat. Thanks for all you do. May God richly bless you and your family. Glenn and family in Colorado. Thank you, Glenn. God bless you guys and happy Thanksgiving. Wow. Happy birthday to Pat Smith. According to the Secret Language of Birthdays, 1994. Viking Penguin Publishing, November 24th, the day of contentious. Famous people born on this date. I couldn't even say the last word. U.S. President and soldier Zachary Old Rough and Ready Taylor, who defeated Santa Anna in the Mexican War. Oscar Robertson, NBA Hall of Famer. Paul Tagliabue, former NFL commissioner. William F. Buckley, TV host. Bat Masterson.
Some good birthdays.
Badass U.S. Marshal. Strength. Loyal, spirited, involved.
That's
Weaknesses. Pat. Escapist, isolated, argumentative in all caps.
Escapist.
Yeah.
Very fitting.
Argumentative.
We all love you, Pat.
Who is this from? I don't know. They took time to do it, though. We appreciate it. All of your texts today, 205-834-9450. We'll continue with your texts as Iron Bowl week continues in our coverage. The only day we're out will be Thanksgiving Day, and that is Thursday. But up until that point, and then Friday, we're locked and loaded. Conrad will be right back at it, 6 a.m. on Friday morning before he puts on his Cam Newton Auburn jersey, and Molly decorates him for the day. He sees good, he sees bad. Apparently, Conrad has seen something bad other than Connor Talty. This is the worst thing that Conrad has seen.
This is the worst thing I've seen.
Been in quarantine, and I need to get out and party. Woo! What's better than beach and a few drinks and Jeeps? Man, getting better than that. Law enforcement's definitely made their visitability and made people chill out and not be as crazy.
The cops are doing their job as long as they don't be mean to people who are actually being innocent. Then I'm all gravy, baby.
All right, to close out the show today, we're going to go to Thailand.
Ooh.
Mix it up a little bit.
Thailand.
We're going to Thailand. And this is certainly an interesting one. So this is straight out of Bangkok, where a woman shocked temple staff when she started moving in her coffin after being brought to the temple to be cremated.
I'm sorry?
After it was assumed that she had passed away.
It's just a settling process, right?
I guess so. So I'm going to attempt to pronounce the name of this temple. I apologize because I'm going to get it wrong.
Awesome.
Wat Rat Prakhong Tam.
Wat Rat Prakhong Tam?
It's a Buddhist temple in the province of Nothamburi on the outskirts of Bangkok.
Oh, beautiful country.
They posted a video on Facebook over the weekend showing a woman lying in a white coffin in the back of a pickup truck when the woman started slightly moving her arms and head, leaving the staff members at the temple questioning what was going on. So apparently the 65-year-old woman, her brother, had driven her over from a nearby province to have her cremated at the temple. He said that they then heard a faint knock coming from inside the coffin.
Oh, no.
Oh, gosh.
According to the brother, he said, quote, "I was a bit surprised, so I started asking them to open up the coffin, and everyone was startled. She started opening her eyes slightly and knocking on the side of the coffin. She must have been in there knocking for quite some time. Apparently, she had been bedridden for 2 years when she became unresponsive, and her brother assumed that after she stopped breathing that she had passed away, but she had not. So fortunately, they were able to get her out of there before she got cremated. So a second lease on life for that woman in Bangkok.
We wasted all the good tears on the fake death. That's a happy ending. I'm surprised that it still happens, but it does. That's going to do it for us. Big show tomorrow at Social Taco. God is great.